everyone, welcome to the We Listen Forum. Today we have with us Ms. Suzy Singh. She's a member of the Board of Advisors and she would be answering the questions that you have posted and the questions that you have sent to us. So hello and welcome, ma'am.
Hi, Moisha. Thank you very much for having me here. And I think this is a brilliant initiative by We Listen, because having questions answered in a video format, I'm sure will make them much easier for the questioners and people who are waiting to receive answers to relate once they begin to see live humans answering them in person. So thank you very much for this.
So the second question is, where do I begin? I have no idea where I can start with what's going on in my head. I'm feeling so overwhelmed with this inner rage that wants to escape from me, not in a violent way. However, I feel myself losing control.
I think it's first important to understand that rage is not one single emotion. Rage is a composite emotion of two feelings, anger and helplessness. So the first question is, what are you angry about? And the second question that we need to address is, why are you feeling helpless? Beneath anger, we usually find some kind of guilt, some kind of shame. And the questioner needs to ask himself or herself whether she is blaming herself for some experience. If she is blaming herself, she needs to forgive herself for whatever loss of judgment or error in judgment that has been made, because guilt is nothing but a highly destructive emotion that results in punishing yourself. So all she's going to do is increase the degree of pain that she's already experiencing. And maybe there is the desire for something and things haven't turned out exactly like she wanted them to. Because she hasn't elaborated the circumstance in detail, it's hard to tell what she's really experiencing. But I can gauge from this question that she's angry that things haven't quite worked out the way she wanted them to work out. So there is a feeling of, I didn't get what I wanted. And therefore, we have to understand that we cannot force or compel circumstances to always turn out the way we expect them to turn out. So here again, there is an expectation that has not been met, which requires the forgiveness of self for having expected in the first place and maybe have made an error of judgment, and the forgiveness towards the circumstance or the individual who has not been able to live up to that expectation. It's very important that this person go through this practice of forgiveness, because otherwise you can get stuck in this vortex of blaming and shaming. And it's only going to prevent this person from moving on. So my suggestion is, do not try and make sense of the situation. Do not try and make sense of why I held that expectation. Why couldn't I foresee events? Why did I want things this way? Drop the why, because you will not find the answer to why. The more useful thing is to actually ask yourself, what have I learned from this experience? Extract the learning from the experience and going forward, implement that learning to be able to protect yourself from being hurt again.
Right. It's really great what you mentioned about the hidden emotions behind rage and anger, and the importance of forgiveness. So that is something very important that I think all of us experience, even in small degrees, and it helps us a lot to understand what the deeper meaning behind this is.
Yes, and I think I advocate a daily emotional cleansing process because, like you said, very often we have small little things that we are angry about every single day and we brush them under the carpet. We don't address them. And over a period of time, they just build up, particularly in relationships. What happens is you may have a small disappointment or a disagreement. You don't address it, or you may be feeling hurt about something and you just let it pass. And over a period of time, all of these, they seem like a little road bump, but they end up becoming a mountain in the relationship. And that's when the breakdown happens. So every night before you go to bed, process your feelings. If there is something you're angry with someone about, try and forgive them. Or if you think that it requires discussion and negotiation, then it should be discussed at an opportune time when both parties involved are willing and open to receiving feedback. And the feedback must be given in a manner that does not land as blaming or shaming another person.
Right. Okay. That's really wonderful to know. And I think it's a good practice that anyone can incorporate very easily in their daily lives.
Yes, it's a difficult practice because we are not used to it. But I think just like we remember to brush our teeth morning and night, we should remember to clean our emotional bodies every night before we end the day and begin afresh or anew the next morning.